Hey, it's me. It's me. It's Trade Show Guy and Scruffy. We're doing a little introduction today for a upcoming. Must be the garbage truck. Holy crap! It's really loud. Anyway, Trade Show Guy. You know, I could wait. I guess I could just wait, but it's kind of fun. Scruffy's looking at the rain like I am too. It's just raining in Oregon. But you know, the good thing is, it's snowing in the mountains, and I'm going to go skiing this weekend. Man, that's what I do. Hey, I got a great interview coming up on the Trade Show Guy Monday Morning Coffee. Is with Anders Boulanger. Anders is a great young kid from Winnipeg, Canada, and he is, I've known him for years. We've exchanged emails, maybe even talked on the phone a couple of times, but we finally met for the first time last year in June in Las Vegas when I went there for the International Food Technologist Show. He was down the road by a mile or two, and we just kind of bumped into each other online, and I said, hey, we got to have dinner. So we did with him and some other buddies of his. It was a lot of fun. And so we had a great conversation on the podcast, the video podcast, about what he does. Thanks for joining me for Trade Show Guy Monday Morning Coffee. And we've got Anders Boulanger on the phone, on the line. You're not really on the phone, but you're here. And so where are you? You're standing up in your studio, it looks like.
I'm standing here. I'm actually, I'm based in Winnipeg, Canada.
Yes.
Which is in kind of like the middle of nowhere, trade show wise. But the thing is, you know what? Trade shows are all over the place. We have to fly to get to them most times anyways. So I like to say I'm centrally located in the heart of North America. That's what
there
I like
you go.
to say.
Now, are you a Canadian?
I am. I am
okay.
a Canadian. Yeah.
Nice.
So born and raised around here, within about 2 hours driving distance of here. But now I work about 95% of the time in the U.S. With some shows in Europe as well.
So we'll talk about what you do, but I'm curious how you got into it.
So how did I get into it? I guess I did my first trade show when I was about 18, 19 years old. I got a call from some kind of a marketing agency, and I went to an agricultural trade show. So it was out in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and so I did not know what I was doing at all. I was just doing I'm a magician, just to kind of give background to this. And I was trying to perform, bringing people into a booth. The booth design, when I think back to it, was horrible because it had like a fence all the way around it.
Oh, weird.
And people could only come in one entrance. And so they'd all stand on the outside of the fence and watch. But, you know, you got this huge gap and energy, and they're not really part of it. They're not even in the booth. So that's kind of was my first show. And then a little bit later on, I started doing some consistently at a hardware show, and then I trained with a guy named Joel Bauer, who was kind of I think when we had dinner one time we talked about this a little bit, but he was kind of the best who ever lived, and he trained 30 guys, and I kind of took his stuff and I worked through it and made it my own as best I could, and so then used that as sort of the jumping off point, and that's really what's built my business over the last 10 years.
Well, it's interesting. The thing that you do and people like you, it seems like it can be a very small group of people that do it consistently, do it well, and are gainfully employed at it to a pretty high degree. And so it seems to be very specific talent that you have, and there's different kinds of it. There's magicians, there's different types of entertainment, but you're also presenters, so you need to be able to present what the client is selling and be able to talk knowledgeably about the product or service that they have. Very specific niche that you've grown into, and so you've done this for 10 years now.
Yeah, and it's been a work in progress, but now at the point where we've built this up, and the company's name is called the Infotainers. So it's we kind of often avoid using the term magician, just because some people have a negative connotation in terms of what a magician might be. You know, I've had old clients saying like, we don't want anyone pulling rabbits out of hats in our, booth. Like that's cheesy, and so we say infotainer, the idea that your information is conveyed in an entertaining way, right? And that's what engages the people. And we really try to create a multi-sensory event in the in our companies, in our clients' booth, so that they can create leads, communicate that message, and differentiate themselves in the marketplace and at the show in general. So in that sense of how, there are a select group of people doing this, and it's not a big group. The way we differentiate ourselves is having very strong message integration, so that what we say on stage, it really has a backbone to it. And at every show we go to, there's always someone that comes up and goes, do you guys work for the company? And they're confused because they know that we know our stuff, and yet the skills and talents that we possess and we're demonstrating on stage don't seem to be in alignment with that company either. So that's what makes them confused. But that's that idea that we want the companies to be proud of how we convey what it is they do, and that it's always, in the best light possible, you know what I mean? And always, always message first. So even if we happen to do magic in the show, it's not played for applause. It's not played for look at me, look at me. It's about the solution, the problem that they have, and then the solution that they receive using the company's product.
So you're representing the company. Obviously, you have to do that very well. So you have to know the industry, the business, or at least what how their product fits into that. And then you're going to a different, maybe 2 weeks later, you're doing another client altogether with a different industry. So you've got to learn something. So obviously, there's a lot of brainstorming and planning before you get to that point.
Yeah. There's a lot of message engineering is what we call it. So we don't really like to use the word script as much, just because in terms of how we integrate that information into the presentation, but also into our own mind, if you will. So that I like to understand it not just at that high level where they might want it conveyed, but actually a level below that to kind of support that. So everything that we say, we know why that's the case. Right. And so once you kind of really assimilate that into what you know about the company, even if you get quote unquote off script, you still know what you're talking about, and you can get back to where you need to be. And again, that kind of gives people that sense of some texture to it, to the presentation as well. So, but it is sometimes tricky where you're going I've gone from one show, flown the next day, and I'm setting up for the next show. And it's kind of like, you got to chuck everything out of the mind and so I kind of have sometimes some jam, not jam sessions, but cram sessions, pardon me.
Yes.
Just like you're studying back in university, to make sure I'm on point with on point and on brand. But with the companies that we continue to use, because companies have us back year after year, Veeam Software is one of our big clients that we're going into it'll be our 8th year in August, but we have shows before that with the same company. Once you kind of know them on that kind of intimate basis, it makes it a lot easier, definitely.
And you say we, so who all is involved? Do you bring in outside people to do specific things, or is it all part of your company? I'm just curious how that works logistically.
Yeah, so basically we have 4 different certified infotainers. So those are performers like myself, like me, that have the same skill sets, and then we can kind of plug into the different clients and different shows. I have a director of operations who works with me to manage a lot of the logistics and a lot of the details in terms of clients. We also provide what we call engagement specialists, or hired booth staff that are professional, mostly women, and these ladies, they're amazing, full of energy, and they travel around the world for companies fly them all over the place just to be in their booths, to scan badges, engage with people, and have that kind of proactive reach. Some of the challenges we find is with the companies that we work with, or new companies, they don't realize how big of a crowd we're going to build in their booth, and their booth staff aren't ready to go around and scan everyone. And so we do kind of try to supply our clients with complimentary services. And so that being one of them, sometimes it's, providing a stage, sound system, specialized giveaways that encourage, engagement with booth staff as well. So there's kind of all kinds of things that we kind of package together, but for the most part, we're certified infotainers, our engagement specialists, me here at the home office, and Kristen, my director of operations.
And how many weeks on the year are you on the road? You personally, I'm just curious.
Me personally, I actually measure this quite closely because of the kind of work-life balance, and I've got 2 young kids, so I actually track that. I believe I was only away about 90 to 100 days last year. I shouldn't say only. It's a lot. It's a lot. but it's just, I know that there are, some people who do a lot more, so I'm always kind of conscious of that. But if I find myself starting to go into my average days away starts getting too high, then I'm really making an effort to book other certified infotainers for the various clients so that we can maintain that.
But you get to go to good places. I saw you post a picture from Times Square recently. So
yeah. So I mean, it is getting a little repetitive now after a number of years, because I do enjoy the travel. So I can't say that I don't like that at this point. But New York I do once a year. We go to Europe, seems to be once or twice a year, so Barcelona or Berlin or something, and a lot of Vegas, as I'm sure you know, Tim.
We ran into each other in Vegas last year. Yes.
That's right. Yeah, in Mandalay Bay, and then a lot of Vegas, a little bit of Chicago, a lot of Orlando, once in a while New Orleans, and San Antonio and San Diego a little bit. Right. So they're nice. They're nice cities. I like where we all go. So, yeah.
I want to cover just a couple more things.
Sure.
Part of it has to do with marketing. You do a lot of online outreach. One thing that I get your newsletter, and one thing that caught my eye in the last couple of weeks was this set of email templates that you had available for people that are doing pre-show marketing and things like that. Cool content to offer. I try and offer neat stuff on Trade Show Guy blog, but I think that the Infotainers blog and website has a lot of great content that is very useful. And to me, that email template thing was very useful. So talk a little bit about how you approach that and what your purpose is for all of that.
Well, the purpose of the blog, I really think, is just to provide, again, useful content for people who are in that space. So it's just, it's not always exactly what it is that we do, but if it's something that someone, a trade show manager or an event manager might need, and they're able to discover us, well, I think that's kind of what content marketing is about. So, so that's kind of the idea. Is we're always just trying to come up with other ideas of what else can we do, what else can we write, what else can we spin, and also there is the long tail keywords and all the SEO strategies behind doing this blog stuff. So it's not all just giving to the community, but there is, of course, the nice reciprocity of getting some traffic and getting known for certain keywords. One of the things we just have kind of listed some of the top tech shows, and we're mostly in the tech sector, and we're getting like huge traffic off of people looking at what are the top tech shows for 2018. So it's just neat finding what works, what doesn't, and then just kind of pushing out content. And I do enjoy making videos as well, just kind of filming something, because I'm a much better talker than I am a typer. So I'd rather I can bang off content way faster talking to a camera. So
and you've done that on the show floor many times. I've seen
yeah. I've done some Facebook Lives. I just kind of was messing around with it, and then some of them turned out kind of fun, and I've repurposed them and put them on the blog, and just to kind of give people a sense of what it is that we do and how the show's in. It originally just was because I have tons of friends on Facebook who have no real clue of what it is that we do. So it was kind of just like, hey, this is my world. Yeah. And the people listening to this are in the trade show world already. But if you really look at it and you just kind of, zoom back for a second, it's like, for 4 days, people will construct this like beautifully lit city, that people just hang out in, for 8 hours a day. And it's just, it's not real. It's very, very different.
Yeah. And there's thousands of exhibitors and tens of thousands of people. And then after 4 days, they close it down and it all goes away. It's a fascinating industry indeed. And to close it up, I'm curious how you approach social media. I do see you active on it. Twitter, of course. I think I've seen you on Google Plus quite a bit, but you mentioned Facebook. Instagram, I think you as well saw one of the pictures. So how do you approach all of that? So
well, part of it is outsourcing some of that to make sure people help you. Always kind of getting stuff out. So we're Twitter. We're big on promoting old blog posts, and just kind of there's a lot of just kind of self promotion in that sense. Putting the content out that way. And that's just kind of planning and pushing it out. LinkedIn is probably the best, and I want to get more on LinkedIn. Gary Vaynerchuk said he's going to live there more, and it's like everyone's like, oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
But because there are videos. Yeah, Gary V says. But because of the idea that you can do videos on it, and because we are B2B, that's kind of really where we should be more so. And so everything else has just kind of been not bonus, but just to kind of have that presence. We are friends with a number of our Facebook friends with a number of our clients. So that is kind of a way to just to kind of connect and stay top of mind as well. Google Plus, I can't say, we schedule, posts and things, but it's kind of like, I can't say I've really been on there that much these days. So it's like a little bit on the way out for me.
Do you use a platform to schedule all this stuff? I'm just curious what you guys use.
Yeah, kind of like a Hootsuite kind of idea.
Okay.
And so it's just, that's part of that is just kind of in the planning and getting that going and having, I like it when we do kind of outsource that in a sense that someone's thinking about it and filling in the spaces when I'm not actually doing it personally.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And to maintain more of a consistent, consistent appearance. And that kind of smooths things out, because it's like sometimes you just you want to write a blog post or you want to make a point and you're just like, I just can't think of anything to get out right now, so if we can kind of smooth things out, and then the times where you go, hey, I think this is a really good thing, and then you invest energy into that, so there's all kinds of if you get creative, all kinds of ways you can get your message out.
And it looks like you're having fun doing what you're doing, which is
I love it.
Which is the bottom line for anything, I think. So
Anders,
it's a pleasure chatting with you. Where can people find you?
They can find us on our website, tradeshowinfotainer.com. It's long, but tradeshow-infotainer. We're there, and everything's on the site. Check out our blog. And feel free to reach out. We do have, actually, and this is just of interest, and I think you saw this a while ago, but we have a special report on there called Trade Show Traffic Secrets, and it's a free opt-in. You get this free report, and it's basically everything I've learned over the years of trying to attract attention and bring people into a booth, and how you can kind of utilize that and repurpose that for your own, creating booth hooks and some ideas to make people come to your booth and check out what you're doing.
We all know the secret to success is to draw a crowd at a booth and then figure out what to do with them. So,
right.
Anders, again, appreciate your time, and happy travels. Good luck.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tim.
All right. Hey, thanks to Anders Boulanger for that great interview we had on the Trade Show Guy Monday Morning podcast. Trade Show tip of the week. It has to do with travel. I've been thinking a lot about traveling. I was trying to book some tickets this morning on Southwest for some great deals, and it just wasn't working. So I'll go somewhere else. But, and I've been told that you should stick with a major airline or stick with a single airline. That way you can accumulate all the points and stuff and how that goes. United's a good one. Southwest is good. Alaska Air, a lot of the West Coast stuff, Alaska Air. But my tip on trade show travel is dress appropriately. Know what the weather is going to be like before you go there. So pack like the night before. You've checked the weather. You know what's going to be like in Anaheim or Las Vegas. Last summer I was there, it was 116 degrees. I don't know. I took all short sleeve shirts, no jackets, or maybe a jacket with no sleeves. I'm going to Anaheim in March. It'll probably be 70 or 75. So, just be prepared. Know where you're going when you travel, and don't overpack. That way, if you can get in and off the airplane without checking your luggage, that's the way to go. All right, and now one good thing. This is my one good thing. We've had Scruffy about 9 months. I haven't lived with a dog for seriously 35 or 40 years. I had a dog when I was a teenager or an early 20-something. And so we got this dog from a rescue home. He's kind of skittish around people he doesn't know, but, he's a cool dog. He's great. He sits in my lap half the day and sleeps the rest of the day and takes a walk every day, and that's that. So Scruffy is my one good thing. Have a great week. See you next time for Trade Show Guy Monday Morning Coffee. I'm Trade Show Guy.